We start with a couple of stories on corruption. Oh, this is a doozy. Vance McAllister, otherwise known as a kissing bandit, congressman from Louisiana. I don't think he's known as that, but I like calling him that. He got in trouble for kissing a staffer who is, by the way, not his wife, who, by the way, was also married to someone else. Vance McAllister, a Republican from Louisiana, who, of course, ran on family values. Now, he did not resign, although a lot of people in Louisiana, specifically in the Republican Party, wanted him to resign because they, number one, he beat someone that they liked, including Governor Bobby Jindal, supported his opponent, his Republican opponent in the race. Plus, they thought this was an embarrassment. They wanted him to go, but he wouldn't go. Well, if you thought that was embarrassing, I think what happened next is far more embarrassing. It's likely to get less coverage because it didn't involve sex at all. But I'll tell you what, it's much, much more important to our government and our democracy. So this clown of clowns is talking at the Northeast chapter of Louisiana CPAs. That's a meeting that's happening last Thursday, and he's talking about legislation that was related to the Bureau of Land Management. And then he tells an interesting and curious story. He says that a colleague of his came up to him and started telling him about how much money he could raise depending on which way he voted on the legislation. So this is what he tells them. These are quotes. I played dumb and asked him, how would you vote? He told me, vote no, and you will get a $1,200 check from the Heritage Foundation. If you vote yes, you will get a $1,000 check from some environmental impact group. Now, he won't out who that congressman was, but pretty much could have been anybody in this incredibly corrupt Congress, and that's how they base their votes. And look, he happens to be a Republican, and maybe Republicans do it a shade more than the Democrats do, but unfortunately, this is the way Congress works. We're going to vote. Okay, where are we getting the checks from? Let's make that calculation and then vote. This is ridiculous. It's outright bribery. Now, he's saying here that he played dumb. He might not just have been playing, because why would you retell this story? Okay, so listen to what he says next. He says, all right, I voted no, and I didn't get a Heritage Foundation check, but he did. I went back and checked with my friend. So I didn't get a check, man. What were you talking about? And he told me, well, I got one. Why didn't you? So, no, you can't complain about not getting your bribe. All right, so then he has a conspiracy theory as to why. And maybe that conspiracy theory is true. I don't know. Let me give it to you first. He says, in case you didn't know, the Heritage Foundation is upset with me, and so is our governor. They're always trying to throw bullets at me. I don't think you throw bullets, but nonetheless. Once I told my friend about Governor Jindal being mad at me, he said, well, that's why you didn't get a check. Inadvertently, this guy has revealed to us exactly how Congress works. He's a new congressman. He comes in and he's like, all right, guys, what are we doing? Oh, which way am I going to vote? No for this, and I get a check for that, and a yes, I get a check for this. Okay, where's my goddamn check? It's because I didn't have the right political backing. Then I could have gotten bribed more effectively. But this moron goes out there and tells people in public, can you believe I didn't get my bribe because of goddamn politics? You were going to get the bribe because of politics in the first place. We don't have a democracy anymore. We have an open auction. This is a great example of it. We're lucky that this guy was stupid enough to tell us about it. But in reality, 99% of the time they don't tell you, but it happens just this way anyway. Now, in this story, did you hear anything about, hey, what do I think of the Bureau of Land Management? Which position do I actually have? How would I have voted if I wasn't going to get bribed one way or another, if the bribe wasn't going to be larger one way or another? No discussion of that. The only discussion was, to what degree am I going to get bribed, and how mad I am that I didn't get bribed properly. The wolf-pack.com, man. If you don't get this money out of politics, you see what they base their votes on. They're now so brazen, they're telling it to your face. He's saying, oh, yeah. I came in here and I was looking to get bought off. I didn't get bought off right. Oh, the voters. That's what he's basically telling you here. This is far more offensive than him cheating on his wife when he ran on family values. That's his personal business. Yes, he's a hypocrite. This is our business. He's selling his votes. And he's not alone. They're all selling their votes. It's an open auction. The only way to fix it is to get a constitutional amendment to get money out of politics. That's the group that we formed, Wolfpack, wolf-pack.com. If you don't join that and start fixing this, what hope do you have? What prayer do you have to actually have a government that represents you, unless, of course, you have the larger check. Is that how democracy is supposed to work? For Christ's sake, wolf-pack.com. If you're a Democrat or you're a Republican or you're anyone who cares about our government, this should sicken you to your core.